Hello and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday there were only one game. Carolina hosted Tampa Bay in second game of this second round series, and our predictions or picks were not exactly correct. Carolina was our pick to win it. There was good value for plus 100, pretty even game. But Tampa, and especially their goalkeeper Andrei Vasilevsky, played extremely well. Tampa won 2-1. And then our player props was that Victor Hedman doesn't score any points. He got one assist to the Tampa's second goal, and that was not good as well as a pick. Just a note that Tampa shoot 15 times to the Carolina goal, and Carolina did 32 shots. So amount of shots didn't convert to win this time as we predicted. Tommy, how you saw this game?
Well, this is sports, so even if you do everything correct, even if you play your best game, sometimes the other team is just better and wins the game. So this was the case now. Carolina, not sure what they could have done better. They should have scored a goal, but Vasilevsky was such a good performance from him that if you can't score, you can't win the game. So one goal is not enough. Tampa Bay got two chances basically and scored from the both of them. The other one, of course, our pick was not for Victor Hedman to get any points. He did get the assist there, but when a team shoots 15 times on goal, it's unlikely that they score more than two. And when you have, even if you have as good defender as Victor Hedman is, these odds still would be favorable. So that bet I would make again. And Carolina, on the ice, they were doing everything that they could, but Tampa Bay is such a good team at the moment. They know exactly what is needed of them to progress from this series. So now it looks like definitely an unmovable object for Carolina when going to Tampa Bay to climb back from the hole they dug themselves in. So hard to see them coming back. But like I mentioned, with these sort of odds, I would still take Carolina at home, maybe not on the road anymore. It is pretty much over for this team, even if you never say never in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, based on the historical numbers, if you win on the road and you lead 2-0, you have around 80% chance to go to next round. So Carolina still have the 20%. That is, of course, much more than Montreal's 8% in a previous series that they played against Toronto. But still, Tampa Bay is clearly now in a driver's seat in this pair.
Yeah, and there is a big difference between Tampa Bay Lightning, the reigning champions, and Toronto Maple Leafs, the reigning, I don't know what bad word to use here, but they're not very playoff-like team anyway, so their history did not support them far away, so that 8% of Montreal would have maybe been a little bit bigger, and maybe in this case Carolina's percent a little bit lower because of the way Tampa Bay Lightning is able to play and how they have performed this playoff season.
That's true. Tampa Bay looks like they are ready to defend their cup deep in this playoff tournament.
Yeah, exactly as we predicted. Colorado and Tampa Bay, the best teams in the league this season. So hats off to our simulations for that from the early in the season already.
Yeah, it's all possible final now when the teams in North Division are lowest seeded and Colorado and Vegas are the highest seeded. So Tampa, Colorado is the Stanley Cup final that we are predicting now. And like you said, we did already before the season started.
Yeah, not really a very unpredictable final, but it is what the system said, so we have to go with it.
Tonight, games continue and games also start. We have picks for both games tonight, and here you can see those. Winnipeg have rested 9 days after sweeping Edmonton. Montreal rested 1 day after beating Toronto in Game 7. We've seen how teams that have been rested, either like in playoffs, like happened with Colorado, or after they have had some COVID breaks during the regular season, have been well rested and ready to play. Most of these teams that have come back from the breaks have win comfortably the first game, and this is also based in our pick here. Predictions show clear value for our home team, and odds minus 128 are reasonable in this matchup. And then like we did a few nights ago, Colorado hosts Vegas, second game in Denver. Over 5.5 goals, minus 104 odds. Good value for this pair as well. Even though Colorado is maybe not scoring 7 by themselves, Vegas may score more than 1. So over 5.5 provides good value in this game.
Yeah, nice picks for tonight. Let's say that Colorado Vegas first, the over. In the first game, Colorado was overwhelmingly better than Vegas. Maybe that's not going to be the case tonight, but still Colorado has all the weapons to score 3 to 4 goals, and now Vegas has to score more. They need to be more active in the offense. They can't just lay back and wait, because that's not gonna win them any game. So we are predicting Vegas to score 2.7 goals in this game, while Colorado is scoring 4.1, which takes the total all the way up to 7. So this is a high scoring game again, maybe a little bit more even than the first one was, but with these offensive players, with these playing styles, it's unlikely to be any sort of a standoff game, because neither of these teams want to win the games by defensive efforts. Even if Vegas might have the weapons to do so, Colorado will then counter, and it's not going to work. So let's see. I do think this is going to be 5-2 to Colorado game. Last one to the empty net, naturally. So this is our prediction. 66.5% in the simulations going over. So it's a clear pick for us with this value. And then our favorite team, Winnipeg Jets, against least favorite team, Montreal Canadiens. Still Canadiens, a little bit overrated maybe by the bookmakers. They were impressive defensively against Toronto. Toronto maybe not their best effort in this 7-game series. Winnipeg Jets, like you mentioned, 9 days of rest. They have definitely watched every single game of Montreal, how Montreal is playing, how they were able to shut down Toronto, and they will take their learning lessons from there and come into this game with a lot of energy. So I do think that these odds with great home favorites here in the simulation, 61%, and the odds were somewhere around minus 128. They have been going down for Jets, so be quick if you want to bet on Jets. It might still move before the game starts, because Jets are better team than Montreal in our papers, and also with all these things going in their favor, it's going to be a hard night for Montreal Canadiens. Of course, there is Carey Price, can do whatever it takes. He's played a great playoff performance, maybe not so good in regular season, so he's a guy Montreal can lean on and will definitely lean on. But Winnipeg Jets do have Connor Hellebuyck to lean on as well. So great goaltending battle. I do think Winnipeg Jets is more balanced, better team, and now they've rested at home. So no-brainer pick for us.
Yeah. During the regular season, Winnipeg won these 9 games between these two, 6-3, and at home they won 3 games out of 4. So they have been strong home team, and even though some of these games have been quite even, there has been also 5-0s and similar victories in regular season. And Winnipeg has improved recently. They had their problems during the last month of the regular season, but quite strong performance against Oilers will lead to the good start of this series.
Yeah, both of these teams faced a bit similar team. Toronto and Edmonton, both very offensive, but both of these teams managed to shut down the top guys. Montreal did it really well against Toronto's top line, Marner, Auston Matthews, barely any points. But Winnipeg Jets did even better job against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Sweep this series. No one was expecting that to happen, even if Edmonton has their history of not being so good in playoffs, as does Toronto. These two teams, very good defensively, so it's going to be likely to be a very different kind of series than we saw these Toronto and Edmonton playing. Neither of these teams have this offensive playing style. Jets maybe a bit more, but I do think that Montreal will be a very tough opponent for them, but Winnipeg's still a little bit ahead because all of these other things and also their depth of the roster.
Colorado-Vegas game is this kind of 40-point swing game. If Colorado wins, they have 2-0 lead in the series, and based on the historical numbers, they have 89% chance to win the series. So only 11% for Vegas when they are going to home by 0-2 defeat. If the game is 1-1 and Vegas wins this one, then Colorado win probability based on the historical numbers is 52. So there, the big difference in the game 2 happens that if you take 2-0 lead many times, that is something that your opponent cannot anymore catch up.
Yeah, this plays into the hands of Colorado Avalanche because they also were a little bit better rested, and Vegas played a tougher series against Minnesota Wild. How about in the regular season? Do you have the data there? How did Vegas play against Colorado in Vegas? Was there any differences between playing in Colorado and Vegas?
I think both places it was 2-2, so there wasn't really clear home arena advantage, even though Avalanche have their mile-high place that is difficult for visitors, and the Vegas have good home crowd in T-Mobile Arena. But I think one of these key things was the last regular season game that Colorado won 2-1 on the road and secured the President's Trophy and home arena advantage in this series throughout the playoffs as well. So it would be a different case if Vegas would win that one and Colorado would play on the road these first 2 games. Maybe resting would help there as well, but at least Vegas would have a home crowd there and don't need to play in Mile High.
Yeah, of course, it is always easier to start the series at home. You have all the support you need and familiar surroundings. Like you mentioned, a little bit different sort of home arenas and home circumstances for these teams. But like we've seen, when you have a great team, the playing on the road or playing at home does not make that big of a difference. But these two teams, really good teams, both of them. So I'm expecting a long series, even if Colorado goes 2-0 up at home. I do think Vegas will bounce back, and it'll be a very, very tough series for Colorado as well.
Let's see how the game 2 goes. First one was ruled by Colorado, and Vegas was tired, but let's see if they have refreshed and re-energized their legs, because they definitely need those against a team that is much faster than any of their opponents so far.
Yeah, definitely. Also interesting to see who will start in the goal. Is it Marc-Andre Fleury again, or Robin Lehner, who started the first game?
We'll see that one tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.